Hello and welcome. My name is Dipakshi. I create DIY related artworks on my channel, and this fresh episode of Art Knowledge, I'm going to talk about must-watch 10 art documentaries which you can watch to gain more knowledge about artists and their artwork and their thoughts and process behind creating those artworks. So, without wasting much time, let's just go and watch this video. So the first documentary is Wasteland. In this documentary, director has talked about artist Vivian जो ब्राज़ील के जो गार्बेज लैंडफिल होते हैं वहाँ जाते हैं और वहाँ से कुछ मेल और फीमेल गार्बेज पिकर्स को लेते हैं और उनके जो फोटोग्राफ्स हैं उनको आर्टिस्टिक वे में पेंट करते हैं। उनकी थॉट प्रोसेस इस पूरी आर्ट को बनाने के पीछे और इस पूरी आर्टवर्क के पीछे ये थी कि वो उन गार्बेज पिकर्स की लाइफ चेंज करना चाहते थे, बट इन प्रोसेस ऑफ that whole story changed their life as well. If you also want to know more about this whole process and documentary, do watch this documentary on IMDb, which was directed by director Lucy Wolmer in the year 2011, and duration of this documentary was 1 hour 30 minutes.
Is to be able to change the lives of a group of people with the same material that they deal with every day.
Mas olha só, Vic. Isso não é futuro.
Então aqui nesse lixo aqui eu invento muita coisa. E eu também me sinto muito bem aqui nessa água, nesse lixo.
Sem Vicky, prazer. Eu queria fazer retrato dos catadores e o dinheiro todo da venda das fotografias iria reverter para fazer alguma coisa mudar aqui. Muito bom. Pensando assim, o que você vai fazer na hora que você sair daqui do Jardim Gramado?
Caraca, maluco. Nunca imaginei uma obra de arte.
Lot number 272, the great work by Vic Muniz, Pictures of Garbage.
So the next documentary is Beyond the Visible, Hilma Elfkind. ये डॉक्यूमेंट्री है आर्टिस्ट हिल्मा क्लिंटन के बारे में जिन्होंने 193 breathtaking abstract art paintings बनाई थी जो अपने स्टॉकहोल्म के स्टूडियो में बिफोर द एब्स्ट्रैक्ट पेंटिंग वॉज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड बिफोर कैंडिस्की। मतलब कैंडिस्की वो इंसान थे, वो आर्टिस्ट थे जिन्होंने एब्स्ट्रैक्ट पेंटिंग इंट्रोड्यूस की थी, लेकिन उनसे पहले ऑलरेडी हिल्मा एल्फकिंड ने इन पेंटिंग्स को बनाया था, लेकिन कभी उन्हें इंट्रोड्यूस नहीं किया गया। So if you also want to know more about these amazing artists and art form, you should watch this documentary which was released in year 2020 and directed by Halima Dashkov. Duration of this documentary is 1 hour 33 minutes and available on IMDb.
She was well educated, she had a mind of her own, and she painted like nobody else.
In order to tell the history of abstraction now, you have to rewrite it. Because basically, all the people who said, it happened in this year, well, no, it didn't.
Plötzlich, wie aus dem Nichts, taucht diese Frau auf, die hat vor Kandinsky abstrakt gemalt, völlig unabhängig, hat dieses riesige Œuvre geschaffen. Hilma af Klint, dadurch, dass sie so früh war, eine Art der Erschütterung in die Kunstgeschichte bringt, die dazu führt, dass manche sagen, dann lassen wir sie lieber ganz draußen.
Art history is immense, so the fiber is man.
If you compare her to the supposed genius men, their steps towards abstraction were very timid, like very slow.
Hat versucht einfach zu entgrenzen, das, was wir unter Wirklichkeit verstehen.
It was a new way of painting. It was a new form of art. Ich kenne eigentlich kein Övre, mit dem man das vergleichen könnte. She walked away at the same time as she made the way. That's not easy to be a pioneer.
The next documentary is Iyy Never Sorry. This documentary is about Chinese famous artist and activist which shows his life and work. The name of this artist is Iyy. साथ ही ये डॉक्यूमेंट्री उनकी जो रिलेशन थे उनके फैमिली मेम्बर के साथ और उनके जो क्लैशेस थे गवर्नमेंट्स के साथ उनके बारे में भी डिस्क्राइब करती है. So if you also want to know more about this amazing Chinese artist, you can watch this documentary on Amazon Prime, which was released in year 2012. Duration of this documentary is 1 hour 30 minutes, and it was directed by Alison Clement.
因为我们养了好多狗和猫，养了40只猫中呢，有1只猫会开门。如果我没见过这只会开门的猫呢，那我就不知道猫还能够开门，它能跳起来把门把手。单位？没有单位，我是艺术家。
There are particular moments which allow a voice to change the way that people think.
He's Beijing Andy Warhol.
He wants to shock you. When you see him drop a Neolithic pot, he's saying, I love the culture, but I want something new.
I think the most important media of our time is Twitter.
你知道他们称我们为爱粉吗？
They call him Ai Shen online, Ai God. That's a very dangerous description in China.
这个花脸班这个东西颠覆了我太多的东西了。我觉得对真相的一种蒙蔽，这是最不应该的。
What inspired you to come up with this project?
5000多学生，对不对？你一口否认这个没有必要的，你得调查一下有没有豆腐渣工厂。
Is he really allowed to say these things?
Yes, I am worried. We don't push. That's happening.
操你妈，祖国！
草泥马祖国 It gets to him at the very end. I was thinking, don't do it.
娘了个逼的祖国！
谁啊？警察！别打他！
他有流氓的一面，就是他知道怎么对付流氓。
扣押我非不非法？我还认出你了，是你。
I act brave because I know the danger is really there. If you don't act, the danger becomes stronger.
He's probably the only Chinese artist who really cares about this country, put his life on the line for something that he believes in.
是有很奇特的经验过，就会在你心中就会存在了。这个东西谁也拿不走。
So next documentary is हर and डॉरथी. ये डॉक्यूमेंट्री दो फ्रेंड्स के बारे में है जिनका नाम है हर एंड डॉरथी. उनका फेवरेट काम था डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ कंटेम्प्रेरी आर्ट को कलेक्ट करना 1960s में, और उनकी पूरी प्रोसेस क्या थी और उनकी जो आर्ट कलेक्शन थी वो क्या थी, उसके बारे में ये डॉक्यूमेंट्री है. इफ़ यू ऑल्सो वॉन्ट टू वॉच दिस डॉक्यूमेंट्री यू कैन वॉच इट ऑन Amazon Prime. It was released in year 2008, directed by Meyer, and duration of this documentary is 1 hour 30 minutes.
Hi, everybody. I want to ask you what's going on in the photo over there. What do you see there? There's art on the wall. These two people are famous. They collected so much art that they wanted to share it with everyone. They gave each state in this country 50 pieces of art.
Herb was a postal worker and Dorothy was a librarian. They were able to purchase a phenomenal collection of contemporary art.
It's an institution-changing gift for us. And across the country, I guarantee you, it has made a similar impact.
So is that the way you handle them?
No.
These works like left our nest that multiply this by 50 times.
Aloha and welcome to the Honolulu Academy of Arts.
think I'll perhaps appreciate contemporary art a little bit more than I have in the past.
Why doesn't an artist put a title to a work? Anybody?
I do like them to be a continuous line.
How you decide to hang it, that's up to you.
Let's see that on you want the top to be even.
We have both worked for the government, and we like the idea of giving it back to the people of the United States.
For me, what we did then is now history.
It's nice to think about it. We've had a wonderful time doing it. Now it's a time of reflection.
So next documentary is बिल क्यूंगम न्यूयॉर्क। बिल क्यूंगम एक न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स के एक बहुत अच्छे कंट्रीब्यूटर थे, वहाँ पर वो काम करते थे। और इस डॉक्यूमेंट्री में उनके जो इंटरव्यूज़ हैं आर्ट के बारे में और डिफरेंट पार्ट ऑफ लाइफ के बारे में उनके फ्रेंड्स और उनके फैमिली मेम्बर्स के साथ, वो इस डॉक्यूमेंट्री में शेयर किए गए हैं। इफ़ यू ऑल्सो वांट टू नो अबाउट दिस अमेजिंग न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स वर्कर, यू कैन वॉच दिस documentary on Amazon Prime Video with a duration of 1 hour 24 minutes. It was released in year 2010 and directed by Richard Prince.
I've said many times that we all get dressed for Bill.
Okay, this is Bill Cunningham on the street this week. There's no reason to be doom and gloom and think that fashion is finished. The best fashion show is definitely on the street. Always has been and always will be.
We're all blank canvases when we get up in the morning and we paint ourselves. Street style emerged at the same point that Bill got a camera.
He's been documenting me since I was a kid, and it's 1 snap, 2 snaps, or he ignores you, which is death.
Bill's fingerprints are all over everything he does because he's never, ever, ever sold out 1 inch of anything.
Put her here and put her over here. Put it on, stop your antics. Put it up there. Damn you, kids.
I have the feeling that he doesn't sit down and talk to people too much. I have no idea about his private life. I have no idea if he's lonely.
I once went to his studio. Have you been there?
This is my clothes closet.
Does he still sleep on the cabinets?
Who the hell wants a kitchen and a bathroom? You see, if you don't take money, they can't tell you what to do. That's the key to the whole thing.
New York society becomes harder and harder to define. Bill is a true egalitarian. However, that doesn't mean he isn't aware of cultural vision and hierarchies. He just treats it all the same.
I'm not interested in celebrities with their free dresses. I'm interested in clothes.
I would come into a place and he would say, "Oh, thank God you're here. Everybody here looks so boring."
If we all went out looking like a slob like me, it'd be a pretty dreary world. The wider world that perceives fashion as a frivolity that should be done away with. The point is that fashion, it's the armor to survive the reality of everyday life. I don't think you could do away with it. It would be like doing away with civilization. That's what I think.
Next documentary is very mysterious and very surprising and exciting. This documentary, the name of this documentary is My Kid Could Paint That. This documentary is about a 4-year girl whose artwork was sold for like hundreds and thousands of dollars, and her artwork is compared to Picasso. So this was something really amazing and made people exciting about her artwork. If you also want to know about this 4-year-old kid, you can watch this documentary on Amazon Prime Video. It was released in year 2007, and the duration of this documentary is 1 hour 22 minutes, and it is directed by Meyer.
There is this idea out there that abstract art and modern art in general is one kind of racket, is a put-on. And that if a child can do it, it sort of pulls the veil off this con game.
All I really want for Marla is to be a happy, well-adjusted kid.
People are asking about this art for real. They want to know who did it, and they want to know how much it cost.
I told this to the parents the first time that I saw her work. You're in for a wild ride. I hope you're prepared for this.
We began tonight with something of a mystery.
Even if a 3 or 4-year-old didn't do them, you'd like them. The fact that she is 4 makes it really incredible.
So what do we have here?
You have a genius.
Yeah.
The New York Times picked up the story, and it was like somebody had ignited a fuse.
10 of her abstract
abstract painting sold for thousands of dollars.
Some big bucks as well. Oprah just called the owner of the Houston Rockets, just bought one. It's probably the most popular story in the world right now.
This is eye-opening to me to see her actually painting, because she's not doing anything that a normal child wouldn't do.
Is 4-year-old painter Marla Olmsted a prodigy?
Some question the authenticity of the artwork.
Marla has been the sole creator of her work.
No one has touched any paint to her canvases.
Everybody's trying to shape the story into something that they want it to be.
What have I done to my children, putting them through this?
I think that she definitely has a gift, something that's very advanced.
Is there any other explanation?
I'm sure they must feel a little nervous now about you.
You don't want to talk at all about your new paintings?
No, I choose to trust you. I don't think anybody really knows what you're going to do with the story.
Where are you going with it now? I want footage of Marla painting that'll put my doubts to rest.
My reputation's on the line here as well. Turn off the camera.
The whole story really is about grown-ups. She's just a little girl painting in her house.
So next documentary is Obey Giant. Obey Giant is a documentary based on Academy Award winning film which was based on famous street artist Shepard Jerry और उनकी लाइफ और उनके जो करियर है उसके कंट्रोवर्सी से रिलेटेड इस ये डॉक्यूमेंट्री पूरी उस फिल्म के ऊपर बनाई गई है. If you also want to know about this famous Shepard Jerry artist, you can watch this amazing documentary on Hulu, which is video sharing platform, and it is released in year 2017, directed by James Moll, and duration of this documentary is 1 hour 32 minutes.
Channel my frustrations is the most constructive way I can think of. Everything that I felt wasn't being addressed in other parts of the world, punk rock addressed. Skateboarding too. I was inspired by bands putting up flyers. I was inspired by graffiti. People going out and doing daring locations for the sake of saying, I exist.
Shepard really impressed a bunch of haters.
When I see like the shot I'm filming, we put the light and we like turn around and like, turn off the light, turn off the light.
The idea that someone didn't like it didn't really faze me. I have to make work the counter narrative.
Country first, all right? That's what I'm saying.
It was crazy to see an image of mine that wasn't created by the Obama campaign become more well-known than anything that was created officially. My need to make my work topical comes from everything that I've been into that's made my life feel meaningful. Spreading in an underground, mysterious way, it impacted people. I wasn't really thinking about legality of the street art. There are consequences to this sort of thing. To stand for something takes courage. We only have so much time on the earth, and I'm not going to waste a second of it.
Next documentary is Alice Neal. Alice Neal is a documentary made by his grandson named Andrew Neal. So this director made a documentary about his famous artist grandfather and his related to his artwork and controversies and problems with his personal life. If you also want to know about this famous artist named Alice Neal, you can watch this documentary on Amazon Prime Video, released in year 2007. The duration of this documentary is 1 hour 22 minutes, and it is directed by none other than Andrew Neal.
Why does somebody create an image, of anything? Why? I mean, why are you sitting there with that camera making a movie?
You remind me of a decadent Prince of Wales, rather amused.
Rather amused.
And then he offered to marry me.
This idea of the bohemian as the person who suffers and suffers and suffers and may be silently rewarded is partially true, but not entirely true narrative. In her case, it was largely true.
We always had this dream that she would be recognized, that she would be able to get some money from her work. And it really did not work out that way when we were children.
where did the majority of the money come from, Dad?
Why are we fixating on this? I told you where it came from. Is this on or off?
Yeah, well, you want me to turn it off?
Can you imagine what it's like to not really have predictability in your life to that level? I mean,
no, I can't.
I don't like bohemian culture, frankly. I think that a lot of innocent people are hurt by it. I consider that I was hurt by it.
Whether I'm painting or not, I have this overweening interest in humanity. Even if I'm not working, I'm still analyzing people.
You say that her nerves are at the ends of her fingers. They were raw and exposed.
I go so out of myself and into them that after they leave, I sometimes feel like an untenanted house.
She was, to a certain extent, committing artistic suicide. She was saying goodbye to the scene.
It's like you're broadcasting and nobody's picking up the signal.
I did my best to have everything. Choices are difficult.
She couldn't deal with having this little girl that she loved and yet in some way had to abandon.
Painting was more than a profession. It was also an obsession. I had to paint.
If she had been satisfied with the paragon of what women were supposed to be, she would have accomplished nothing.
You can do anything you will to do. If you're sufficiently tenacious and interested, you can accomplish what you want to accomplish in this world.
Next documentary is Art and Craft. In this documentary, Mark Landis uses his incredible forgery skills to create a duplicate pieces of famous masterpiece and donate it to museums and galleries to get fame. So if you also want to know about this con man, you can get to know more about him on Amazon Prime. This was released in 2014, directed by Jennifer Gosman and Sam Pullman, and duration of this documentary is 1 hour 30 minutes.
Our soft spot, art and money.
Yes, my name's Mark Lanois. My recently deceased sister left me.
Oh, Ron. Is that an early form of color printing?
I'd like you to show me where you would think of putting it. The Sotheby's label would have said black chalk, brown wash, red chalk. I just use colored pencils because I can't tell.
Who's that? Yeah, Mark Landis. I've been following Landis for 4 years now. I looked this one up, and it showed up in a press release at the St. Louis University Museum of Art. And then I found the same one in 3 more museums. He's been doing it over 30 years, and I've found 46 museums in 20 states with more than 100 pieces that he's offered up to these institutions. But I just keep building my case. He messed with the wrong registrar. What's so strange about Landis is that he's not in it for the money. He likes to do museum professionals. He likes to see the stuff on display.
There's kind of a performance art quality to the act.
The art world's a very strange place. Matt Leininger has been the only person that has pursued this from the beginning. I just became obsessed with it, just like he is obsessed with making these paintings.
What do you know of Matthew Leininger?
I don't even know what he looks like.
You realize he's been keeping tabs on you?
Oh, yeah, I know all that.
This is in 6 or 7 museums, but they look so good and so real.
Do you have any idea why at this point you haven't been prosecuted?
Because I didn't do anything wrong or illegal. I decided to be a philanthropist.
Who's that guy?
Mark Landis.
Who?
Mark Landis.
Yeah, it's Mark Landis.
So the last documentary of this episode is Finding Vivian Meyer. In this documentary, जो डायरेक्टर है उन्होंने विवियन मिरर के जो उनकी लाइफ है, उनके करियर है, उसके बारे में बताया है और उनकी जो कलेक्शन थी 1 लाख फोटोग्राफ्स की, उसके बारे में भी डिस्क्रिप्शन दिया है. So if you also want to know about this amazing artist, you can watch this documentary on Amazon Prime, which was released in the year 2014 and directed by John Muller and Charlie Sisto. And duration of this documentary is 1 hour 23 minutes.
The auction house is across the street from my home. I found this box loaded with negatives. I won it for $380.
The history of street photography is being rewritten.
Vivian Meyer.
Vivian Meyer.
Vivian Meyer?
Exhibitions in New York, in LA, in London, Chicago.
We've had more interest in this work than any other photographer.
There's one particular that I bought which I love. The composition is slightly off to me and I think that's why I like it.
Vivian was a very private woman.
She was so awesomely unique.
She was not an open person. She was a closed person. Vivian was my nanny.
Yeah, she was our nanny.
We certainly had no idea she took photographs.
She lived on the 3rd floor in our attic.
This was the forbidden zone.
One of the first things she asked me for was please to put in a lock.
She said, don't ever open this door.
They didn't know there was this creative person there.
She took so many photos.
Around 100,000 negatives, 700 rolls of undeveloped color film, 8mm and 16mm movies.
She would take us and we would just walk in the worst parts of town, and I think she liked that.
You know, maybe we just didn't understand her.
What would you say to Vivian now?
What drove you to hide yourself away?
I did her, why the why the didn't you ever show me all the stuff you did? I thought I was a friend of yours.
In death, she is getting the fame she never had in life. I'm uncovering an artist. If I'm leaving this giant boulder unturned, it would be a mistake.
Of course, she would have hated every minute of it. She would never have let this happen.
She had some compulsive behaviors.
She was a pack rat.
I asked her what she did, and her answer was, I'm sort of a spy.
We would say, what's your name? Miss V. Smith.
There's a piece of the puzzle missing.
As she was photographing, she was seeing just how close you can come into somebody's space. That tells me a lot about her. She could generate this moment, and then she's gone.
Is there anything that you wish was done differently then?
Sure, I wish I would have found those negatives instead of you.
So I hope soon you will going to watch these amazing art documentaries and going to learn more about these amazing artists and their life and their story behind their amazing artworks and the frauds and the excitement related to some of these amazing art documentaries. And if you do, please do tell me about your experience in the comment section below. Do subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends and family members. We'll see you next time. Till then, bye bye. See you.